Welcome back to HillGilly Fishin. Right off the bat, I'd like to ask you if you'll subscribe to our channel. We're always putting out a lot of content, from us fishing to tips and tricks or informational. And that's what today's video is all about. We're going to compare these two heavyweight boat companies to each other in these 6 categories and find out which one we think is the best buy if you're looking to get into the two-man bass boat business.
Round 1, we're going to talk about size. The Bass Hunter comes in at 114 inches long by 48 inches wide. The Bass Raider comes in at 122 inches long by 50 inches wide. Now don't let those measurements deceive you, because the Bass Hunter, while it's 114 inches long, the length of the sitting area is only about 96 inches. It has an aggressive front end. The seating area is not quite as big in the Bass Hunter as it is in the Bass Raider. The winner of round 1 goes to the Bass Raider 10E.
Round 2, we're talking about weight. Now, one of the big pros about these two-man bass boats is that they're so convenient to get out on the water quickly. They'll slide right in the back of the truck, right between your wheel wells, strap them in, you're gone, you're fishing. Now, the Bass Raider 10E comes in at 145 pounds. The Bass Hunter EX comes in at 135 pounds. And again, just like the size of the boats, that number's a little deceiving. I don't know if it's the way that they're built, but this Bass Raider 10E, even though technically it weighs 10 pounds more, is a lot easier for one person to maneuver in and out. When we had our Bass Hunter EX, we actually had to build a winch system to be able to load it. It was just too much. It was a real backbreaker, even with 2 people. This Bass Raider, I can load by myself. Now we might have to make some concessions and take some of our gear out when I'm by myself to get it slide up in the boat or in the back of the truck. So when it comes to weight, I think the Bass Raider 10E takes this round. Round 3 is all about build quality. The Bass Hunter is one solid molded unit. It's a very thick material, and that's the reason that weight is so heavy. The Bass Raider is a 2-piece unit. It's a molded bottom and a molded top. It's filled with foam blocks inside of there to help with the buoyancy, and then they seal it off with this rubber strip around here, and under the rubber strip is stapled all the way around. So that does leave you susceptible to leaks at some point in the future. That's going to be a maintenance issue. Some folks will take epoxy or silicone and seal that off to help with the lifespan of it. But the Bass Hunter EX is one of those boats that will probably be around for 20 or 30 years. The build quality, the Bass Hunter EX takes the round and gets back in the fight. Now in round 4, we're going to be talking about modifiability. I think that's a word. Anyways, one of my favorite things to do with these two-man bass boats is see how creative I can get, and when we're creating content where I can mount camera mounts, where I can put fishing rod holders and all that kind of stuff. So with that, here on the Bass Raider 10E, you can see that we've added cleats for anchoring out. We've put rod strap holders. We've got GoPro mounts. We've got Scotty mounts, and you're able to do a lot with the Bass Raider 10E. One thing that you do have to take into consideration though is this material isn't quite as strong as the Bass Hunter EX. With our Bass Hunter, we're able to modify and mount anywhere we want. Like I said before, it's got that solid molded unit. It's a heavy duty material, and you don't have to make concessions about where you want to mount things. With our Bass Raider, I have to keep in mind that since this material isn't as strong, I don't mount a lot of stuff on the outside, and even when I'm placing, I have to be very selective of where I want to mount stuff, knowing that it might be a weak point on the boat. So round 4, when you're talking about modifiability and getting creative with your boat, the Bass Hunter was a lot easier to work with because I did not have to worry about where I was putting anything. Bass Hunter takes round 4.
Round 5, we're going to talk about weight capacity. The Bass Hunter weight capacity is 550 pounds. The Bass Raider is 600 pounds. The reason that number is important is because when you have 2 people fishing in the boat, you can exceed that weight limit pretty quick by the time you have 2 people and all of your gear for an 8-hour fishing day. If you're just pond hopping with the kids, that 550 pound weight capacity isn't a big deal. But if you're out on lakes all day fishing with a couple of guys and gear, then that extra 50-pound weight capacity is going to be very important to you. It's going to let you sit on the water comfortably. It's going to let you have some room to actually move around. On round 5, the Bass Raider 10E wins. Round 6, we're going to judge on the water performance. So we've got a few categories in this round that's going to help us make our decision. First was the buoyancy. The Bass Raider has a 20-inch hull and the Bass Hunter has a 12-inch hull. Of course, if you'll remember with the weight capacities, that hull height is going to make a difference. So when we had windy days in the Bass Hunter, water would come over the front of the boat. Even just driving around, we sat so low in the water because of that 12-inch hull and the wind combination, we had water come over the front of our boat and get our feet wet for most of the days. Maneuverability. Both boats performed well on that. I'm going to say that it's probably a tie between the two as getting around. Both boats handled on the water fine with a 50 to 55 pound thrust trolling motor. No issues there with either one. So that one's a tie. So stability on the water. The Bass Hunter, if you got off on the side of the boat, it could dip the edges. This Bass Raider 10E, I've been over the side of this boat and it didn't feel like it was going to tip at all. So stability wise, the Bass Raider 10E wins that. Yeah. Overall durability on the water. We've talked about the different build qualities and there's by far differences in those. We were a little nervous about the Bass Raider 10E on pulling it up on boat ramps, dragging it on boat ramps, bumping rocks, stumps, and things like that. The Bass Hunter had thicker plastic. Seemed like it took a little bit more wear and tear on the boat ramps and the rocks than the Bass Raider may. We have not had any issues with either boat in that category, so I'm going to say it's a tie. So in round 6, the winner is the Bass Raider 10E. For the fact of when we were on the water, windy days didn't affect this boat near as much as it did the Bass Hunter.
So this was a 6-round fight and the Bass Raider 10E comes out on top. Honestly, I thought it was going to be a lot closer than that, but when we really started considering all the things that we liked and disliked about each boat, it became apparent that the Bass Raider was our favorite. When we first had our Bass Hunter EX and we fished out of it for a couple months, we actually just got the Bass Raider, so when we had extra guests with us, whether it was our kids, family members, friends, or whatever, that we would have a second boat and we could all go. And right off the bat, we said, hey, the Bass Hunter is our first line boat because we love the boat. It was good quality. And then after just a couple times of taking out and testing out our second piece, we were like, hey, I think we like this boat better. So the Bass Hunter took a couple of rounds, but overall, the Bass Raider, in our opinion, hands down the better boat. The reason you haven't seen the Bass Hunter very much in this video is because we've sold it.
Bye, Felicia.
We decided for a secondary boat, we like this Bass Raider 10E so much that we'd give somebody else the opportunity to own that EX since we wasn't using it that much due to the weight, the size, the carrying capacity, everything that the Bass Raider won over was a consideration for leaving it at home every time.
Being in the back of the boat and driving the boat, my opinion changed instantly. The first time we took this boat out, I liked it better than the Bass Hunter. It just handled better, and I enjoyed fishing out of it. I've got long legs, so we had more room inside the boat to work with than we did the other one. Plus the safety of it, sitting up out of the water, it just fished way better. So in my opinion, this one was our number one go-to. We loved this boat so much and decided to get rid of the Bass Hunter. We added a second one to our fleet.
Actually, not only do we have a second boat, we've got a third boat in the last couple of weeks. It's staying down at Austin's house in Tennessee, so when we go down there and fish with him, we don't have to carry so much equipment and so many boats. So these are some metrics you should consider when buying. You know, everybody's gonna have their own opinion. The Bass Raider 10E was the winner in our opinion. What are you doing? Are you fishing with one person? Are you fishing with two grown men? Are you fishing with kids? Maybe the Bass Hunter will work for you, but for us, it was the Bass Raider 10E hands down.
Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and we hope to see you out on the water.